But again, I've got Blake and David with me. How you guys doing? Have I asked already? How you guys doing?
Yeah. It's a good day. We can say twice we're doing very well.
Perfect. Well, I'm going to throw this up there. This is what we're talking about today, how to safely buy an RV. And it's funny that it's called that because my wife asked me after the first webinar I did, she said, what were you talking about? I said, it was all about how to safely buy an RV. And she said, oh, you mean like through COVID? And I said, no, actually like how to not get ripped off. And so with that being said, can we talk about what you guys are doing for COVID and all this? I know that you're taking some extra steps to make things safe for everybody. So what do you got going on over there?
Probably maybe not the biggest thing, but basically trying to listen to our customers, and we've noticed there's a new customer getting into RVs this year. And it's because of COVID-19. Yep. A lot of people are, of course, not comfortable going out much. There are those that are, but there are those that aren't. And we're meeting a lot of people that are saying, "Hey, I don't want to get on a jet. I don't want to breathe that recirculated air."
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that are saying, "I don't want to stay in a hotel right now. I don't believe they're going to properly clean." People are staying away from amusement parks, things like that, if they're even open. Mm-hmm. And then, if you want to social distance, camping started social distancing before it was cool, right?
Yeah.
And what people are figuring out is, hold on, I can buy a camper, right? A travel trailer, fifth wheel, a motorhome, and I control everything about it.
Uh-huh.
When I get it, I decide who walks in the thing, who walks by the thing. If I clean everything that goes into that thing, I'm guaranteed I'm safe.
Right.
We even have people that are buying motorhomes because they don't want to do fast food right now.
Oh, wow.
So they drive it, and travel trailers, fifth wheel, same way. Mm-hmm. But it's easier to cook everything else. They pull into a rest area, they pull into a big box store, stay in a parking lot while they do lunch, things like that. What we're doing here though is we're literally treating every RV with a cleaner that is guaranteed to knock all the viruses out, including the coronavirus or COVID-19, whichever you want to call it. And starting next week, probably around Thursday or Friday, the units will actually have a seal on them as well.
Okay.
So your door will be sealed. And the reason for that is to let the customer know and our people to know, okay, this unit's been cleaned. This is kind of what it's going to look like. Okay.
Okay.
But literally it will tell the customer and our people, hey, this unit has been cleaned. Stay out of it. And the customer will know if anyone entered it because the seal will be broken.
Right.
So it's a pretty cool way of, we're treating them. We're not charging. We're putting the seal on it so customers know, okay, no one's been in this thing since it was treated. Mm-hmm. I'm good to go. Then even here, they can decide, do you want a person in there with you or not? If you don't, we won't. Our people are wearing masks when they interact with the customers. We're doing a lot of extra cleaning, a lot of extra mopping, wiping of doors. It's a little bit irritating for some people, but our traffic pattern has changed. You can only enter one door now in the dealership, things like that. And the biggest one, and we've been doing this forever, which has kind of cracked us up. We saw one big dealer in particular. They've got 100 and some stores. I won't mention names, just their initials, Camping World. Oh, I did that. I always do that wrong. I always do that wrong. But they're bragging about this COVID delivery and stuff. We've been delivering to people's homes for over 20 years.
Yeah, so it's nothing new to you.
No, so and again, we'll treat the unit here. We'll seal the doors. When it gets to your place, you'll see the seals are intact. You'll know no one's been in your unit. We will exchange paperwork through your mailbox, literally.
Okay.
The driver will put the paperwork in there. You come over, get the paperwork out, sign everything. If there's any that's even applicable, most of your paperwork's done beforehand. You put it back in the mailbox. When you walk away, the driver will come up and get the paperwork. So it's really thought out. Whether you pick up here or you have it delivered to your home, you can have as much interaction as you want or as little interaction as you want, because we get it.
Yeah.
It's not going away. I know when this whole thing started, I remember telling my wife, relax, everything will be back to normal in 30 days. Ooh.
I remember saying something like that too.
Don't think I haven't heard about that about 8 times a week.
Yeah. I said some stuff early on, and part of it was just to ease my wife and
Yeah.
the little bit of anxiety. And
Absolutely.
even though I had no idea what I was talking about, I faked it enough to calm her down a little bit. One cool thing you talked about then, or one thing you said was that there's no charge. So in other words, boom, one of the first things we're going to talk about, there's going to be no hidden fees with the COVID cleaning, which is what I want to get into now. Because actually, you know what? Before we get into the hidden fees, I've also heard that you're going to get very real today and not hold back any punches with the way other dealers may be treating people.
No, Dave, the simplest way for me to say this is after almost 23 years in business, we're real frustrated with our industry. And a lot of the really bad practices have resurfaced because of COVID-19. And I will say that I'm literally ashamed right now.
Yeah.
Of what dealers are doing.
Yep.
And what we're seeing. I drove by a dealership the other day on I-75 and I was shocked. They were like plush with units.
Uh-huh.
I'm thinking, how can you have anything in stock right now? I mean, we've been so busy. We literally were up almost 200 units in July.
Right.
We missed it by 1 unit. I mean, you're talking exponential increases that are crazy, right? I mean, we're in a very good position because of some things that we did before COVID and because of our relationships with the factories, right? Mm-hmm. But go back to that dealership. He's plush with inventory because he's jacked his prices so high, some of them as much as $10,000 on towables. And, I don't understand why it's not criminal.
Yeah.
I really don't. I mean, price gouging is price gouging. And dealers all across the country are doing it right now. We've not raised our prices. And they're all rushing out raising their prices to take advantage. It's sickening. For one thing, there's medical professionals and first responders, people like that are buying RVs so they have a place to stay to keep their family safe. And you're going to price gouge them.
Yeah.
Seriously? There's school teachers that are now doing it. You're going to price gouge them. Shame on you. Yeah. And it's time to go even higher and say to the factory, shame on you.
Yep.
It's happening and you're allowing it. How about this? How about we start cutting some of these dealers out? How about we don't let them be dealers anymore?
Yeah.
And say to the buying public that we appreciate you and support you, and we're going to protect you. So, if the industry wants to ignore it, we're not going to.
Yeah. And
we're tired of it.
We had customers just last week. He brought me up this deal on a motorhome, and he goes, "What's so different about these two?" And I go, "Because it's $20,000 more when it should be $20,000 less." And he was just mind blown. And I went through the process of why, and we get more further into it with fees and things like that. But that was just his listing price was $20,000 more.
Well, I just had a conversation, and I won't keep going, but with a customer who's looking at a Jayco towable, and Jayco's a good company, but they were bought out a couple of years ago, and the company that bought them paid a little too much for them. And after that happens, we go into what I call the gut and rut. You start gutting the coaches. You start building them cheaper, right? You take a lot of things out. The one thing Jayco did is they put a really small second door in. I can't get out the door. If I turn, I don't know if I could get out the door now. Turning sideways, this COVID thing's put some pretty good weight on me. I went on the COVID eating plan.
You and me both.
Yeah. So it turns out the camera adds weight, but not as much weight as I've added. But long story short, that unit literally, because of the way it's built now, the way it's equipped, the things that Jayco's doing, should be well below our Puma. And it was almost $8,000 more.
Wow.
And it's like, come on, towable to toe, stick and tin to stick and tin, right? Mm-hmm. But see, it's the dealer price gouging.
Yep.
And here's the problem. Some customers say, okay, great. I found a dealer who's being honest. I'll just buy from them. Some customers say, wow, that guy is so dishonest. And here's the thing that the industry is missing. That guy's so dishonest and the industry is allowing it.
Wow.
And they walk away.
And don't buy an RV at all.
Don't buy an RV at all.
Leaves a bad taste.
You know, they're back. I mean, you know, do I want to be part of do I want to buy from a factory that allows that kind of price gouging? And, you know, you can say, well, maybe they don't know. Maybe they don't, but they ought to be looking right now because they've got enough phone calls from us and customers, right, saying, hey, this is really getting out of hand quickly.
Yeah.
And, you know, I love greed because it bites every time, and it's biting these dealers hard right now because they're not selling what they could be selling, you know. Yeah. Thank goodness, honestly.
Well, I choked on my own spit.
It happens.
Daggone, does it have to happen in front of 97 people watching on the internet, though? Good grief. My eyes are watering. I was going to ask a question. Now I forget what question because I almost died. I just almost died. I wasn't going to ask a question. What I was going to say is that if people talk about all this money, how much things cost, people can go to RV Wholesalers and customize an RV right there and get a quote within, no joke, within seconds on their phone.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So you just throw that little ad out there real quick.
Well, you know, people say, well, why do you do this? Is this an infomercial? I kind of wish it was.
Huh?
But you know what we try to tell people is especially this year, there'll be over 500,000 new towables sold. Doesn't include motorhomes, right?
That's an awful lot.
It's a crazy year, you know, and on an average year, you're 350 to 430, right? So still a ton. This year it's going to be way up, but we can't sell that many.
Right.
We can't sell 10%. You know, 10% would be 50,000. We can't sell 50,000. Yeah. If you look at 1%, we don't have the infrastructure. We just don't. So what we're trying to do is help people buy in a way where they can keep themselves safe because we can't sell to everyone. You know, several people have asked where you guys located. We're in Ohio is where we're sitting. We also have a location in Dodge City, Texas. It's just opening. And boy, do the Texas people love it.
Really?
Oh, my gosh. The whole state has lost their mind. The Texas RV Dealers Association is trying to send all these inspectors and it's been hilarious to watch. RV Wholesalers has arrived in Texas and the whole state has lost its mind. I mean, the dealers, it's crazy how they are reacting. And you know what I love to say, one of the factory reps called and said, what do you think's going on with that? I said, simple, shame on them.
Yeah.
Really? Your prices are so high that one dealer shows up and you lose your mind and start calling state associations and stuff and turn us in for things to get us investigated, hoping that we'll leave. We do everything above board. Send an investigator every day if you want.
Wow.
I mean, but it shows you the industry.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very interesting. But anyways, our Ohio location is in Lakeview, Ohio. You can look us up. Someone asked how far from Pittsburgh? 3 hours?
I would say about 3.5 hours because I'm 2 hours from Pittsburgh and an hour and a half from here. So yeah, about 2.5. Yeah. I'm sorry, 3.5. 3.5.
We don't give mileage. We give time in Ohio.
Yeah.
that's an Ohio thing.
All right. And so then let's talk about the first slide I threw up there, hidden fees. Mm-hmm. What kind of hidden fees do we need to avoid? And let's start there. What kind of hidden fees should we look out for?
A lot of dealerships charge for the craziest thing, and it's the PDI, your pre-delivery inspection. That should always be free because it has to happen before the unit leaves. Mm-hmm. I mean, when customers call me and say, all right, how much are you charging for a PDI? I'm like, we don't. It's free. You're not supposed to charge for it. The dealers do just to get more money out of you.
Wow. How much would a PDI, another company, dealership charge for PDI?
You know, the cheapest I've seen is $700, but I've seen some places, depending on the coach, or I've seen $4,600.
Yep. Wow.
You know, and there's a common business practice out there. There's industry classes that tell dealers how to make full gross, right? And then there's one that says how to defeat internet dealers, which is really funny. And what they've taught them is quote a really, really low price, right? Almost at cost. You get the people in, you get their deposit.
Yep.
Then when they come back to pick up the RV, you hit them with thousands of dollars in hidden fees, right? One is factory freight. PDI is a huge one, right? Okay. You know, for example, you charge there's there's a big box store that has over 100 and some stores. Earlier I said their initials, but they're charging as much as $1,800.
Yeah.
So, there's all these crazy fees out there. Call them whatever you want. But some people are going to pick up their RV and finding almost $9,000, $10,000 in fees.
Yep.
Others it's $3,000, $4,000.
And they're stuck losing their deposit if
Right.
they want to back out.
So your choice is if I gave $1,000 deposit, my wife and I's decision is, do I pay the $1,200 to the $9,800 fees, or do I give up my $1,000 deposit, or do I go sue for my $1,000 deposit and pay between $5,000 and $15,000 to get my $1,000 deposit?
Yeah.
So the customers are put in a really bad spot. So the best way to protect yourself is ask the dealership before you give a deposit, is this my price out the door? Yeah, absolutely. Okay, put that in writing.
Yep.
When I show up to buy this unit, to pick up this unit, I want in writing, this is the exact price I'll pay, and if you raise it $1 more, I get my deposit back. I want all that in writing.
Yeah.
They won't put it in writing. When they won't, leave.
Yeah.
Don't stay there. Don't fight. Don't argue. I think that we've forgotten in our society, like especially if you watch the news, that we're in charge.
Mm-hmm.
If you wonder, go to a BMV. I like to say, guys, you work for us, right? Well, guys, the RV dealer works for you. It's your money. You vote with your dollars. So how do you do that? Simple. You walk away when a dealership's being dishonest. Run. Don't walk. Run. Don't give them another chance. Why would you give them another chance? They're going to find another way to get that money out of you. One of the big hoaxes going on right now is this forever warranty, lifetime warranty, eternal warranty, whatever you want to call them, right? There's 3 or 4 of them now surfacing. And people bring them up all the time. Is that a good deal? No, it's not a good deal. And one thing I always ask people to prove it to them is, ask them if you can still buy an extended warranty. Well, if I have a forever warranty, lifetime warranty, whatever they call it, why do I need another warranty?
Right.
Most of the time they come off of that anyways after.
Right. I mean, think about it. If I bought a raincoat, why you sell me an umbrella? If it's waterproof. So but go back to hidden fees. I need everything in writing, and I need you to say I get my deposit back if this changes $1.
Okay.
And if you'll do that, and they'll do that, you're in good shape. If they won't do that, again, don't walk, run. Just leave. You don't want to be there. It's.
So there are fees that are unavoidable.
Sure, but they're not hidden. They're stated up front. Dock and title fee. I think in the state of Ohio, it's like $295, something like that. Okay. Some dealers do charge factory freight, but they tell you up front. Yeah. That's what we're talking about. Yeah. Put it where I can see it. Some dealers put it in the price. That's cool. But still, I know what I'm paying. Yeah. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes total sense.
Hidden fees, though, you've taken my money. We've entered a deal. We think we have an agreement, and now you're changing it, and you don't want to give me my deposit back. That's not fair.
Now, so when somebody gets a quote, they go to the RVWholesalers.com and they customize it, and they get that quote sent to them. Is that the price they're going to pay, or is there a fee that you will tell them, obviously, before they buy it, but is there a fee that will go on top of that quote that they get?
Go ahead.
Yeah, so on top of that, when you get a quote, when you call in and you get your stuff, we add the $295 dock title fee and the $360 factory freight. That's our only 2 fees here at RV Wholesalers. We don't inflate our fees. Is what we have to charge per the state. So $295 and $360 on top of your quote, and that's it.
Everything's there, and that keeps it simple and clean.
Awesome.
Is the best way to say it.
Throw this up so people know who was just talking. Right there. You have more information. You want to buy an RV, that's the guy to call, right?
Yeah, that's it. Like Blake Shelton, but I'm better looking, so.
What was it, David?
I may need some waiters.
Does it get deep in there?
Yeah. Next, I'm going to say I look young and skinny.
Oh, that's awesome. All right. Anything else with hidden fees? You want to jump into the next?
Yeah, let's keep rolling.
So we are going to get the slide here I want to put up there. I'll tell you, spoiler alert, we're going to talk about trade-ins. I know you guys have thoughts on trade-ins and if they're good and if how they should go about doing that, how they can find the value of their trade-ins.
Well, right now, sell it yourself.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what you said many times.
People are, and right now more than ever, Any used units we get are sold like within an hour.
Yep.
Okay.
We've never seen a market like this, but the used unit market's so hot that the best thing you can do is put it on Facebook Marketplace, put it on Craigslist. Just be careful on Craigslist.
RV Trader.
RV Trader is a great place,
Okay.
and most customers are telling us they're sold within a day.
Okay. Wow.
You know, once it actually appears out on the web, it's gone. I mean,
And the plus is it puts money back in your pocket and then
Yeah.
put it in ours. I mean,
you know, it's people say, why do you tell people that? You know, and we get a lot of pushback from the industry on that one. You know, keep your mouth shut. Don't tell people that. That's a good money maker, and it is. We make great money off used trailers, but you know what? I'd rather you keep it in your pocket.
Yeah.
Very honestly. Now, if you want to trade, there's people that tell us, I just don't want to mess with it. We'd love to have your trade. Most dealers would love to have your trade. Again, the best thing to do though is go to nada.com, nada.com. You can get a value there. Now it's going to be a little high, okay, because they add things that we aren't allowed to add. And people always say, well, why aren't you allowed to add them? Well, we go by the NADA book, and it doesn't allow us to add options, right? And the bank, when they're lending money, goes off that book. So that's how we're going to value it. So you might be $800 high, maybe gross. $1,000 max. But if you go there, that's going to give you an idea of what you could sell yours for. And if you're selling to an individual off the street, you could go ahead and list it at that price, and you'll be able to get that price right now. I mean, it's incredible how quick used units are selling.
And is that because it's hard to get a new unit because manufacturing?
And just COVID-19, people don't want to fly. They don't want to stay at hotels. You know, they want to be in that RV.
What would you say if we're talking about trade-ins and used? We'll get back into trade-ins and how to do that. What would you say though to somebody who's thinking about buying a used one or a new one? Do you have anything to say?
You know, if you know that you want to camp, you enjoy it, you like it, I wouldn't be afraid to go with the new and get the warranty.
Okay.
But again, be careful on the price. You know, and you said earlier, come to our website, get a price, then you can go out and shop safely. You'll know if you're getting taken advantage of.
Yeah.
If you aren't sure you like it yet, well, buying used isn't always a bad thing. Another thing to consider is rent one.
Yeah. We had somebody ask earlier, I can't remember the name, but they asked if you would suggest renting one before jumping in and buying one.
Mm-hmm.
Me not being an RV dealer, I would say that makes sense if you're
Sure.
My kid wants me to buy a motorcycle. I don't know if I'm a motorcycle guy. I can't go out and buy a motorcycle and then get on and be like, I don't like this.
Right.
A motorcycle payment. So
Right.
yeah.
No, I think that's a brilliant way to do it. You know, and over the last 5 years, the market's really changed where a lot of dealers are doing rentals now. You know, we do, and we can't keep enough motorhomes in the fleet. It's crazy how popular it's become. So no, that's a great thing to do. And, you know, again, you protect yourself financially then, because you're going to, you know, I've never had anyone go camping though and didn't like it either.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's such an amazing thing. It really is. And especially today, right now, you know, I can go sit by a campfire without a mask and enjoy my family.
Yep.
You know, just have a good time and relax.
Yeah. All right. So let's go back to trade-ins. If somebody wants to trade in their RV, what's the best process in doing that?
Negotiate your price first.
Yep.
All right. Get the lowest price that you can get. Then tell the dealer you have a trade. Okay. Now here's where the game starts. A lot of people call us and say, hey, I want to trade in my unit. We'll say, for example, I'm going to keep numbers real simple. Okay, we'll give you $10,000. So I have another dealer that will give me 15. Okay. Call him and ask him if he'll buy yours for 15 if you don't buy his new unit. And one more time. Call the dealer and ask, will you buy my used unit right now for $15,000, but I'm not buying your new unit? When they say no, run. Okay. Now, if I told you I'd give you 10 for yours and you say, will you buy it outright even if I don't buy your new one? Sure. When can you bring it?
Okay.
All right. So again, that's a big game. See if dealers really overcharge, right? So let's say their price is 15, 20,000 more than ours, right? 8,000 more than ours on a smaller travel trailer. Then all of a sudden they're offering you, you know, $1,000 to $5,000 more on the trade than we are. Well,
They're still making money.
right. They're not giving you that for the trade.
Right.
You know, all they're doing is move the numbers around.
Uh-huh.
So again, the best way to protect yourself, two steps. Number one, negotiate your price first, then tell them you have a trade.
Okay.
Go look it up on NADA to get it. But remember, you're going to be high on NADA, but still it gives you an idea. Second thing then is ask them, will you buy my used if I don't buy your new? Okay. If the answer is no to that, run.
Okay.
Now you know the numbers are fake.
Yeah.
All right. So if you do those two things, you're pretty darn safe on a trade. Anything else you'd add?
No, so I mean, I love dealing with customers, with trades, just because I have that same scenario, and my bottom dollar always wins. Just because I don't inflate nothing, and they get confused, and I explain what David just did.
Yeah, and the bottom dollar is the important thing.
Yeah.
What is my price out the door with my trade? And if you're shopping several dealers, the one with the lowest price out the door,
Yeah.
that's the one you should buy. Doesn't matter if he's giving the less for your trade; he's still the cheapest deal.
Yep.
And that rattles a lot of people. Again, just look. What is my price out the door? Right? Okay, dealer A is 28,000. Dealer B is 26,000. But dealer A offered me more for my trade. Right? But you're still paying 2,000 more. Don't get hung up on what they offered you for your trade. Get hung up on what am I paying when I'm done with this deal.
Right.
And again, ask them, will you buy my trade for that?
Okay.
They're not going to. They're using all the markup in the new unit to pay for your trade.
Mm-hmm.
And most dealers' goal is to not pay you anything for your trade.
Right.
To use the profit from the RV.
Mm-hmm.
The dishonest ones, that's what they're doing.
So there's a lot of, I shouldn't say a lot of work, but there's some stuff folks should do before they go out.
Yeah.
A checklist they need to have.
Yeah, just and you're just keeping yourself safe.
Yeah. And that's so with that checklist, if you've forgotten a couple things that we've mentioned, the getting the price before trade in, offering the trade in after, having them write down the final price out the door, those kind of tips. If you've forgotten to write those down, this will be sent out to everybody watching, everybody registered. We'll get a video of this webinar, and you'll be able to watch it anytime and take those notes. But if you haven't yet, maybe you want to go out and grab a notepad right now and take stuff down. Or if you're hip and young, you know how to do stuff like that on your phone. I don't know. I'm old school. So let's talk about something coming up next week. Actually, we have another virtual RV show, which will be my 5th one that I've hosted. And one of the first things I learned at the very first RV show is that, wow, RVs are affordable. And
yeah, they should be very.
Yeah. I was impressed with how affordable they can be. So let's talk about financing.
Mm-hmm.
And what that process looks like.
Well, and again, you're going to want to do your deal, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Then tell the dealership that you're interested in financing, and then ask them this question: what are you going to pay me to finance with you? And I love doing this.
Are they going to play stupid when they?
Yes,
when they ask that
and
question?
they're going to be shocked when you ask them that question. I would love to put like a GoPro on my head next time I go buy a car and just capture their expression. I just bought my wife a minivan like a month or two ago, and because I'm such an awesome husband.
Yeah.
And actually, we bought a minivan, but I like to say I bought it.
Yeah.
But anyways, I asked the guy after we were all done with the deal, what will you give me for financing with you? And it was like,
You knew something?
What do you mean?
Yeah.
What do you mean? Well, you get a kickback from the bank. I'd like part of that. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
I mean, it really is kind of comical. And for those of you that don't know, this is one of the best kept secrets in the car industry and the RV industry is dealers get paid by the bank when you do a loan through them. Now there's like one high risk bank that we actually pay them $75 to do a loan, but all the rest pay. Okay, people say how much? Figure around 2 to 4%. 2% is very safe.
Okay.
Okay, but long story short, why shouldn't you get part of that?
Yeah.
Why not? You're the one doing the loan.
Right.
You're the one paying the bank. The dealer's not paying the bank. So again, when your deal's done, you've got your trade done, everything. Ask the dealer, okay, I'm financing with you. How much of that money are you going to give me? And again, they're going to play stupid. They're going to act like they don't know, what you're talking about. Just be patient and just say, I can sit here as long as you'd like me to.
Yeah.
And if you're confused, maybe go ask your finance manager. He'll know what I'm talking about.
Right.
But I don't know of any bank that doesn't do it, except for the one bank that only does high risk people. And again, they charge us $75.
Okay.
So that's a great way to get, hundreds to thousands of more dollars off your deal.
And so I hear recently with the scenarios of COVID, a lot of people want to pay cash, which I can still work cashier, but then I explain financing, how I pay you to finance for at least a year. And people ask me why all the time. And I explain it. I get reserve money from the bank. I turn around and give it to you. I don't need it. I don't want it. I want to give it to you to help you save even more money.
It lowers your price, and you're not paying tax on that money. You're not paying interest on that money. And when you go to sell it, you can sell it for less because you didn't pay as much for the unit.
Right.
You know, it's really a no-brainer.
I'm gonna publish a poll real fast. If you're out there watching, answer this poll for me. Will this be your first time purchasing an RV? I just want to know so we have an idea of who we're talking about. 100% so far. Yes, this will be the first time. So I'm assuming this is very good information for everybody watching. And there's a reason why I was going to put that up there, and I can't remember other than just finding out like who you guys are talking to specifically. It looks like a lot.
I think my hair is distracting you.
It could
I'm
be.
having such a good hair day. I think the gray thin hair is distracting me.
I think it's distracting you, David. I'll be honest with you.
I get kind of caught up in it.
I know why I was going to ask that. If somebody's out there and they're thinking about buying an RV, can they get financing information before they jump in? Can they figure out exactly what it's going to be and then not buy the RV if they realize it's not good for them?
Yeah. And one thing I always do, like when I'm car shopping, is I pull up as funny as this sounds, I pull up a loan calculator. And put roughly what I think that I'm going to pay for the vehicle and see real quick what my payment's going to be.
Okay.
Rough.
Yeah.
And then I know maybe I shouldn't look at that vehicle.
Right.
maybe I should look at a cheaper vehicle. Until I hit my budget, and then I call the dealership with more confidence because I know roughly where I want to be. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's just power. But yeah, you can always call a dealership and say, hey, roughly where will I be? Now they're going to be honest if they say this to you. I really need to know your credit score, right? I really need to know your debt to income, things like that. Because that's going to decide your interest rate. Because the bank's going to ask for that. But again, if you know you're buying, have them run it, see where you're coming in. Don't have a bunch of dealers run your credit though, guys. Okay, it's not going to change from dealership to dealership hardly at all, if at all. If U.S. Bank's doing loans. Bank of the West, Bank of America, those interest rates don't really vary much from dealer to dealer. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And the nice thing with us is we don't shotgun your credit either. We actually analyze it first. My finance guys, I got 3 pros out there. They actually analyze it before they send it to every bank we got. We wouldn't do that anyways. That's the reason why we do analyze to send you to 1 or 2 banks.
Yeah, we've heard horror stories of dealers sending a person's credit out to like 18 banks. You shouldn't do that.
No.
I've heard, I don't know if it's true, and I'm assuming you would know, every time your credit's checked, it drops a little.
It can, yeah.
Okay.
It can. And once doesn't always hurt it, but the more inquiries you have, that's why I say don't go shop 3 dealerships and tell them all to run your credit.
Okay.
That's going to drop your score some.
Yeah.
I got a question here that doesn't really tie in right now, but it's a good question. We did mention this earlier that it's hard to get RVs now. If somebody orders an RV, about how long would it take for them to get it?
But varies based on factory, but anywhere from 6 to 12 weeks. Yep. Again, based on some people hear 12 weeks.
Yeah.
No, anywhere from 6 to 12. And the really good thing with us is we're used to selling units that people order and always having things on order and selling them. So again, you kind of hate to say we're built for COVID, but we're built for COVID. It's always been our way of doing business. There's a lot of dealerships that's not sitting on the lot. They don't know what to do. Okay. You know what I mean? They don't order one. And people laugh. They're like, "Oh, that doesn't happen." Yeah, it does happen. But again, we've got probably, in all seriousness, 1,200. We have a meeting this afternoon, but I'm guessing in excess of that units on order right now. So many that not even all of them are anywhere near put on our website yet. And I tell people that we order. They have a fall show every year. The RV industry does. They canceled this one this year because of our friend COVID. But we buy heavy at the fall show because that helps the factories get through the winter. Then we bought heavy in the spring, right? Late winter, early spring. A bunch of dealers canceled their stuff when COVID happened. We didn't. We took all of ours. We bought a lot of dealer stuff that they canceled, right?
Right.
And then we placed another big order. while everybody was freaking out. So we've gotten hundreds of units through here that other dealers didn't have access to. And we continue to push the factories because we did our part, right? So help us out. The guys that are yelling and screaming, let them go sit somewhere.
Yeah.
And the guys that are price gouging, let them go sit somewhere. But no, it's not as bad as people think. The biggest problem in the industry right now is parts.
Yep.
Because we're weaning ourselves off China.
Okay.
Just the stuff that they used to buy from China. Unfortunately, the industry's figuring out how do we get factories up and get it built here again and get away from Chinese manufacturing, because it's become so unstable during this COVID crisis. I hate that word.
And you called him our friend earlier. I'm like, I don't even like that guy. I don't know what you're talking about. So you got the financing taken care of. You got your trade-in taken care of. You've picked out your RV. You know which one you want. What about the extended service contracts and warranties and that kind of thing? What can you tell us about that?
I never bought them.
Okay.
My whole life I thought they were terrible things because of the car industry.
Mm-hmm.
And we start selling RVs and people start asking about them, like, why would you want that? Are you crazy?
Uh-huh.
That's always a ripoff. And then we started doing research because we had so many people asking. And we found out something fascinating. Extended warranties are like everything else. There's really good companies, there's really bad companies, right? Just like dealers. You got great dealers and you got not so great dealers, right? And you got dealers in between that are trying to decide if they want to be great or not so great.
Yeah.
But what we figured out was there's two different types of extended warranties. Number one, there's stated and there's exclusionary. Okay, exclusionary is great. That's what you want. You do not want stated.
Okay.
Can you tell them what stated means?
Yeah, so stated, it means it's only covered if it's stated on the paper, on the contract.
It literally lists what it's going to cover.
Okay.
And normally that list is really short.
Yeah.
So stated is a really good way to rip people off.
Okay.
And that's the only way to say it. That's the only reason you would ever sell it to anyone. They sell them for the same amount of money that other people sell exclusionary contracts. They make a huge amount of money on them, and it never pays any bills, right? Exclusionary, though, covers everything but what's listed on the contract.
Okay.
And there's very few things that are listed.
Yeah.
Okay. If you buy an exclusionary contract and you pay 10% of what your unit costs or less, you're in good shape.
Okay.
All right. If you're offered stated, run. Don't even say no. I don't want stated. I want exclusionary. Just leave. Okay. That's not the place to buy from.
Now, do these dealers offer both, but kind of push towards stated, or?
Any dealer could sell both.
Okay.
If you sell extended warranties, you can sell both, but a bad dealer always pushes stated.
Yep.
That's why I say don't argue with him and say, no, I want exclusionary. Okay.
That's what I was getting at.
Again, dirty is dirty, right? Bad is bad. Now, the other thing to check is ask them who the parent company is and do a little research and find out what their insurance rating is. If their insurance, every company's rated. If their insurance rating is an A+ or an A, that's good.
Okay.
If they're a B or lower, don't buy it. Okay. I mean, they're pretty generous in their ratings.
Okay.
If that makes sense. So A or A+, good. Anything below it, walk away.
Yep.
Okay. And that's just Google it. You can find. If you have trouble, call us.
Yeah.
It's not a hard thing to pull up, but we make sure all of our companies are A+ rated. We only sell exclusionary. We've had customers calling and asked to buy stated.
Really? Were they thinking they'll get it cheaper, or?
It is a lot cheaper.
Okay.
If you buy from an honest dealer, it's a lot cheaper. We discussed all with them in detail because it's still like, why do you, unless it covers your microwave and you just blew your microwave up making popcorn.
Yeah.
But then that's dishonest because you got to wait 30 days to turn in the claim. So,
right, and I have customers calling at a time. I had one this morning saying, well, I can get an extended year from the manufacturer. Yeah. I said, why would you want to do that? He goes, what do you mean? I mean, it's more warranty. Then I explained to him the differences between the two. Okay. He goes, oh, because that makes sense now. Nobody really knows the difference. So that's why I love bringing it up in the webinars when people watch. Now they know really what to look for and not to look for.
Yeah. And again, extended warranties are great. I actually buy them now. especially since washers and dryers have become disposable.
Yeah.
I put them on all my washers and dryers.
Yeah.
And when I say, oh, we've bought a lot. 3 kids, we've bought a lot of washers and dryers.
Right.
No, but it is a good idea. Again, though, you want exclusionary. That's very important. And your price should be 10% or less. Okay. And a really good exclusionary policy is not cheap. So you're going to pay a little more for it, but it's worth it because it's going to pay the bills. And again, make sure they're A+ or A rated. Anything below that, they're not paying the bills.
Okay.
You know, they're refusing claims that should be paid, and that's why their ratings plummeting. Someone asked, do you have a place near your dealership to test or check out a rig for a night? Yeah, we have Indian Lake State Park's about 3 miles from here.
Okay.
But there's probably 5,000 campsites. If you swing a dead cat, you'd hit.
Yeah.
Right around us. No offense to cat lovers. And we're actually putting in, we hope to have it done by next spring, may not be, about 10 campsites on our property.
Oh, really?
Yeah, for customers to use as well.
Okay. So right there on the
Yeah, right here in Ohio.
right there at the dealership.
Yeah.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, so then they can spend the night, make sure everything works, and
Yeah.
we can go out and tweak anything they find if they find anything.
Yeah.
So I got a question for each of you.
Yeah.
I've never asked this question on a webinar. David, you go first. What's the best thing about RVing for folks that are out there thinking about buying an RV right now? The best thing about RVing.
But I would tell you the greatest thing that I've gotten out of RVing is trying to think of the word, bonding with my family.
100% agreed.
That's good. So this would be your answer too, Blake?
That, and I'm a nature guy. I love being outdoors.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
with
don't
that,
don't overlook the value to your family.
Mhm.
Really, you can't. It's, you know, there used to be those commercials where they'd say, you know, $5 drink, whatever, and da-da-da, and then the last thing's priceless, right? And,
Oh, yeah.
and RVing it's priceless.
Yep.
I mean, when you can sit around a campfire with your kids at 1:00 in the morning with no cell phones and have a real conversation, not just your kids, other people.
Right.
Well, you and I have sat around a campfire.
Yeah.
You know, it's very entertaining. It's a great way to bond with people. But, you know, I have found that people that camp, we don't hear about drugs and pregnancy. And,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, they're close to their family. They're close to their kids. You know, they love each other. They enjoy it because, again, there's no TV. There's no craziness. It's you and nature and your family. It's awesome.
When you talk about that with family, and so if we're talking about family and time spent with them, I'll tell you a quote I heard not long ago that I've actually spoken on this quote before, and it's this. It really messed with me. But at some point in your childhood, you and your friends went outside to play for the very last time, and nobody knew it. And when I heard that quote, I read it. It was somebody retweeted it on Twitter, and I'm like, wow, that's pretty powerful. I started thinking back to last time I played baseball out back with the neighborhood friends. And then I made it personal and started thinking about the last time my kid asked me to wrestle with him. He's 20 now. He's not going to ask me to wrestle. If he does, it would be weird. And he would whoop me. And I lost it. There's times when I thought about that, and as I'm writing this message that I did, where I just bawled like an idiot because there is going to be a last time, whether it's just because they get older or more tragic reasons. There's going to be a last time things happen, and spending as much time with family is the way to go. And it sounds like RVing is one of the best ways to do that.
Yeah, you're going to capture it.
Yeah.
Very well.
That's awesome.
No, I couldn't agree more. That's a great quote too.
Yeah, it messed with. Don't think about it too often. I've come home from events that I've hosted and done, and I remember being 10 minutes from the house and started thinking about it. And it was the wrestling thing. Like I can remember Sebastian wanted to wrestle all the time, and I got to be careful so I don't lose it in front of 96 people. He wanted to wrestle all the time, and there were times when I was tired or I was getting ready to go somewhere and I didn't want to get all hot and sweaty, and I tell him no, and I'm like, man, there was the last time that he asked me, and I started bawling like an idiot. So why not take some time and get out with family and do it in an RV? It's good advice.
Well, it is, and you know, again, I've never heard anyone say, I so regret buying that camper.
Yeah.
I've never met that person ever, you know, and I've never had anyone get back from a camping trip and say, well, that was hell.
Yeah.
You know,
right.
I just haven't. It's really funny. There's we go to Disney a lot. and there's a hotel that you can stay at that picks up people at the campground as well.
Mm-hmm.
And you watch the people from the campground get on the boat, and the people that are staying at the hotel on the boat, and the people from the campground getting on the boat have their arms around each other or holding their kids' hands, vice versa.
Yeah.
They snuggle on the boat, right?
Right.
The love is amazing. And then you see the people at the hotel.
Yeah. Wow. It's good.
It's very valuable.
All right. So we got through this pretty quickly. You guys gave us a lot of very succinct information. Is there anything else you want to talk about? Again, before you answer that, I want to tell folks that a lot of questions came in that I didn't get to. You can get to rvwholesalers.com and send your questions there. You can, let me put Blake's information back up if you have questions for Blake. Let me go. Boom. But yeah, we don't want to leave anybody out. But like I said, there's a lot of times when we can't get to certain questions. Is there anything you guys want to mention before I'm going to show a video here in a minute? But
yeah, we've seen a lot of people are asking questions about pricing and brands and things like that. Brands, and I'm a Chevy guy, okay, right? So I get brands, I do, and I normally drive a General Motors product, and have my whole life. So I get the brand thing, but I've learned through the years, service is so much more important. Mm-hmm. It really is. People get hung up on a certain brand and think, well, I can't buy from that dealer because they don't carry that brand. Yeah, but what's the service they're offering you?
Right. Yeah.
And this is can we all agree this is maybe the most stressful time we've seen?
Yeah.
I wasn't alive for World War II. You know what I mean? I wasn't alive for the Great Depression. In my lifetime, let's say that I'm 49. I know a young 49. That shocked you. I could tell by your face. You're like, wow, you're 49?
How can you be 49 in that
Yeah,
hair?
exactly. But, it's a really, really stressful time. We're seeing it in our customers, right? We're hearing it in their voices. And this isn't the time to fight. This isn't the time to try to get something fixed. So you can go away on a camping trip when, for the longest time in Ohio, the only thing we can do is camp.
Yeah.
Literally. Our governor finally at least allowed us to go outside.
Right.
That's a political message for another day. But we love you, Governor, if you're watching. But they need to camp.
Yeah.
When you buy a camper, you need to be able to camp.
Mm-hmm.
Find a dealer that's going to take care of you. Ask questions. For example, if I travel out of state, how will I get repairs done? When they say, well, when you get back, bring it in. Wrong answer.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people are taking care of parents right now.
Yeah.
Right? And they don't all live in the same town. A lot of people are traveling for baseball and stuff right now. Again, I go 2 states over to a baseball tournament with my kid, and I have no air conditioning, and it's 108 degrees. That doesn't work.
Right.
And your dealer says, well, bring it in when you get back. No, I need it to work this weekend.
Right.
And I'll give you an example. We had a young couple. I always remember them because they had a newborn, and then they had about a 2-year-old, and they were from the East Coast. They came here, picked up an RV, and they were driving down to Florida to Disney World, right? So the Disney thing connected because I love Disney.
Yeah.
So immediately we're like, talking all about Disney, and it was cool because they were a really young couple, and you could tell they were really in love. And then they have this newborn, and I'm like, who takes a newborn to Disney? Well, we did, but most people don't, right? So so that was kind of fascinating. Matter of fact, we went when my wife was 9 months pregnant. And I remember her walking on the airplane.
What?
And the stewardess says, how far along are you? And she's like 7.5 months. Really big baby. Because you're not supposed to fly,
Yeah.
But anyways, she was hoping the kid would be born there and then they're like a permanent citizen of Disney.
Yeah.
I digress. So these people get down to Florida. They're staying at the Fort Wilderness Campground. It starts pouring down rain, which I know is surprising in Florida. And water starts coming in their air conditioner. And he can't get the water heater to light. So he calls in total panic, right? We had talked so much, he asked for me. I get on the phone with him. He's like, I got water running in my roof, a 2-year-old on the floor in the water, right? My wife is not happy. There's no hot water. We have a newborn. What do? We had a guy there in about 15 minutes.
Wow.
A mobile service person that we use in that area. The air conditioner came loose on the way down. The guy tightened the 4 bolts, stopped the leak, and the gentleman was trying to light the water heater incorrectly.
Wow.
He showed him how to light the water heater. Their trip was saved.
So as opposed to living with that through the vacation.
Yeah, and when you get back,
Yeah.
they were from I think New Jersey.
Okay.
So had they bought from a New Jersey dealer, bring it in when you get back. We'll fix those two things. First of all, how much water's gotten in that good? You know what I mean? You can't really put a tarp over it and head to New Jersey.
Yeah.
No, but those are examples to run by a dealer. How are you going to take care of this? And especially in time of COVID, again, one of the only things we can do is camp. So I need to camp.
Okay.
So service is really important. I'm sorry to rattle there, but it is. It's so important.
So talk about service. How is there any place in the country where they won't be able to get service from somebody you trust and know? And
no.
Okay.
No, because 22, 23 years of doing this, over 2,500 businesses in our network that take care of customers, and I had 3 requests this morning to join.
Wow.
People in the service side know us. They know they're going to get paid. They know they're going to get parts. They know they're going to be taken care of. They know the customers are going to be happy. So there's a lot of people that try to get in our network, and we go through very tightly to check them out.
Yeah.
Before we let them in.
Well, you guys have had a few 4 or 5 really, really good months.
Yeah.
As far as sales and all that, I think that speaks volumes into how you treat your customers, and I think you said before that it's like family.
Yeah, exactly. That's how we look at it.
Well, the reason I know that you've had some good, a few good months strung in a row is because of what I'm going to show you now, a video. I will tell you guys that I'm going to play this video, but even though there's sound in the video, I will still be able to hear you. So if you talk about me while this video is playing, I will still hear it over my computer. But here's a quick little commercial about what's happening next week, and we'll be right back here. All right, so there you go. That's August 26th. That is next week, Wednesday and Thursday. Next Wednesday. I should probably know that because I'll be here walking through RVs, or I'll be there walking through RVs. It's from 1 to like 8:30. We wrap up when we get through all the trailers. But those are good times and very informative. We have a lot of people watching, and a lot of people learning, and a lot of people buying, and it's a good time. So I will see you guys then. You got anything else? Anything else for folks?
No, I don't think so. A lot of questions weren't answered. Give us a call. One quick one I'll answer. When will the Texas location be open? To the horror of the entire state of Texas, every RV dealer, let me say, it is open.
Okay.
We have very, very, very little inventory there, though. That's all still coming.
Okay. So is it gonna grow from where it is
Oh
now?
yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Perfect. All right. Well, then if that's it, thanks to everybody watching. We appreciate it. We hope we answered all your questions. And if we didn't, get hold of RV Wholesalers and they will answer anything you have. And I wish you the best in purchasing your new RV. And we'll see you guys next webinar, but we'll also see you at the RV show, which, by the way, it said register below, and you may be looking for that. Don't register. That's a video that's on the website. You can go to RV Wholesale. virtualrvshow.com. to get more information, get registered. Absolutely free, giveaways and all that. I'm going to shut up so you guys can get to your day. Thanks, guys, for hanging out with me.
Thank you.
We'll see you all.
Thank you.